This video is going to discuss the topic of a caster frame sword and if they are now usable in Destiny 2. So, they recently got a buff, so they reduced the heavy attack consumption from 5 to 4 and increased the heavy attack damage by 16%. Notice that's just the heavy attack portion, not light swings. Light swing damage across all swords is universally similar apart from the outlier B-Quest. Please don't comment about B-Quest. I know that B-Quest does more damage than all other swords in the game. I know about it, but don't try to deter the subject. The subject is, the question is, are caster frames swords competitive in PVE compared to vortex frame swords? That is the question. That's what I wanted to know myself with the buff. And you're going to find that out because we're going to do a damage rotation, a test. So first you need to understand what caster frame swords are in the game. There's only 4 that's at light. You got Dragoncult Sickle from Warlord's Ruin. You got the Fire Sword, which is void for some reason. It should be Sola. This I don't know why it's. I mean, when you actually look at the role though, destabilizing rounds, repulsor brace. This is a very good utility sword on a void build for ad clear, but it's not going to give you the damage. There is Relentless Strikes, Attrition Orbs, which technically in theory you can farm surges over and over while you're fighting a boss, so that's nice. But solo wise, you want a damage perk. In a team, you might want to have, like, if there's 6 people in a raid and they're doing a sword strat, like on Crota and stuff, you might want to have one person with attrition orbs on so that they can farm up orbs for everybody else for surges. That's quite nice. But as far as a solo sword, you were sacrificing 30 to 35% damage by not running Whirlwind Blade or Surrounded. So therefore, I wouldn't recommend that sword for DPS. Other caster frame swords is Sola's Scarf from Trials, which you can focus, and Temptation's Hook, which is a legacy item, kind of. But you can buy it from the gunsmith and Xur sometimes. So those are your options. So really, your only option is to farm Dragoncult Sickle, really, for your DPS, which is via Warlord's Ruin, right? I've got Unrelenting Whirlwind Blade, so I haven't got the right guard, which you want Swordmaster's Guard here, and then you want Jagged Edge here. I haven't even got any of the right stuff. So I haven't got the 10 out of 10 roll, but I have got Whirlwind Blade on it at the very least. Other perks that you want in this column are things like Slice are going to increase damage, and Demolitionist is a nice perk, but Unrelenting is also a nice perk. But it doesn't come with Relentless Strikes, which is unfortunate. So that's the role with that. So that we're going to compare Dragoncult Sickle, caster frame sword, to Fallen Guillotine, which is a vortex frame sword. This is like the king of vortex frame swords, basically. I know Surrounded does more damage than Whirlwind, but Surrounded relies on you leaving adds alive to then DPS a boss. This is very niche solo-wise, because solo-wise you want to kill adds, then kill boss. You don't leave adds up, unless you're in a Well of Radiance, fair enough. But for the most part, this is more of a consistent perk. Even though it's 5% less damage than Surrounded, it's still more consistent because it will proc anytime, all the time, on bosses. It takes 10 stacks to get Whirlwind Blade, but it's so easy to get times 10. You can get times 10 in 3 seconds. Don't worry about it. They did nerf Whirlwind Blade a year or 2 ago, but it's still been good since. Especially combined with Relentless Strikes, you're tripling your damage. You're tripling the amount of time you can last for, right? When you keep getting ammo back. So the test is going to be with no boss specs, no revitalizing blasts, no solo operator, none of that stuff. Just sword to sword, no surges, no well irradiances, just sword to sword. Which one does more damage out of these two? And just see how close it is. So that's really all this was about. So we'll just establish a baseline number with Fallen Guillotine in the Kalli fight. So both clips were similar times, 25 seconds. It's not a perfect damage test, but it's a rough ball number to see if caster frames are competitive. That's the only answer we're trying to come to. So we'll slow down the footage. At times 10 Whirlwind Blade stacks, we're hitting for 8, 3, 9, 4. For a heavy attack, you hit 6 times for 5, 2, 4, 6, which is about 31k per heavy attack. But it takes 7 ammo to use a heavy attack. This is very wasteful sword, so it's a more of a burst damage sword against champs and stuff. But against a boss, if you're looking at a boss anything more than 30 seconds, then a caster frame sword, because it only takes 4 per heavy, it's gonna last longer, right? So let's have a look now with the caster frame sword. So notice on both clips we only got 1 stack of whirlwind blade with a heavy attack. This never used to be the case, but they patched that ages ago. So let's slow down the footage. Single attack swing is 8176. Our heavy attack with the caster frame swords is weird. It hits for 8 times, I think, 8 or 10 at 2862. So it's a little bit different to how the vortex frame works. So we got 426 on the guillotine. Let's see what we get on this sword, which the damage looks to be very similar, but that's good. That means it's competing with one of the best swords in the game, if not maybe better. And this isn't even the best roll that I have. So Dragoncult Sickle gets 450, which is technically more, but we had one more. We heavied 6 times, whereas guillotine only heavied 5, so they'll be almost equal. So that was the view on that.